Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or again, as I always say, if you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. Now, this one here is an interesting one. This is the Charlie Adelson murder trial participants tier list ranking. Well, that's a mouthful. What is this tier list ranking all about, hey? That's what you're asking. Now, I need to explain this based on a comment that was left on my video yesterday. Well, it was yesterday when I'm at the time of me recording this. It says, hey, guess what? NASA and Russia sent up spaceships that had onboard computers using code way before you were born, and you probably haven't heard of Ada Lovelace, who was one of the first creators of code. She lived in the 1800s. I myself learned coding in the 1970s, so your patronizing tone re older people is a joke. And I replied, definitely wasn't using a tone to patronize older people. Many would know about programming code. Many wouldn't know about programming code, I said, but I know there are plenty of older people who do. Thanks for watching. Now, I wasn't going to really show this, but I think you might need to know that this is what I see behind the scenes as far as my viewing audience, or listening audience, I guess, for those who just listen to this. You can see that it's broken up into both male and female, of which I have 61.8% female viewers and 38.2% male viewers. Of course, we know that true crime fans tend to come in the way of the female persuasion. That's just how it is. I don't know why it is the case, but yeah, women tend to watch true crime at a greater rate than what men do. Now, if we look at the age break, you can see here that what I've done I've made this pie chart beside it. I've gotten rid of the 18 to 24 because they came in at 0.2 and it kind of just, the little slither of pie was pointless. So you can see this is the what the breakup of my audience is. And if we come over to here, you can see this is getting the 13 to 44. So I've included the that 0.2% back in, but you can see the ages 45 plus. This here, this is my target audience. This is who, when I'm making the videos, and if I have to explain something about popular culture or about coding, for example, I myself didn't learn about coding at school. I might sound like I've got a young voice maybe, but more about that in a second. And here is the second. Now, on the day that this video drops, it's my birthday. It's my 50th birthday. So you can see I'm probably a bit older than what you may think I am. So yeah, I'm 50 today. 50, coming up to 50. 50 on the day that this drops. 50 tomorrow. Or today, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. So, again I ask, what is this tiered list ranking all about? Now, it's all over the internet, all over the YouTube at least. You can see there are people who basically make their whole thing about this. Like this penguin guy, he's got many in there, or JS Schlatt, I don't know, Schlatt cereal tier list. So you can see there's an Australian food tier list as well. Now, this is the board. This is the standard range. As you can see from A, B, C, D, E, as I've got on there, down to E. There we go. But you can see that some people put it down to F. And other people, they forget about E completely and they go, this thing is so bad, or trash, as this YouTuber said, we don't need an E, we're going straight to F. Other people, they actually give each of the sections like a title. You can see this one here has gone S tier, pretty good, literally spyware. And so you've got to ask then, what is the S? What is the S tier? It means super or superb or superior. And some people, they call it the God tier. So, with that out of the way, here is the Charlie Adelson murder trial participants tier list ranking. Yes, I needed a cough for that one. Now, what this is about how I'm judging this is based on how they were able to put Charlie Adelson, what they did to help Charlie Adelson go to prison. We start off with Sarah Kathryn Dugan, the prosecutor. Her affiliation is Team Markel, of course, and she did the opening statement. I'm putting her as B. I'm gonna say from the get-go, possibly a controversial sort of thing, but maybe not. Maybe I put her higher than where you would put her. Daniel Rashbaum, defense attorney, team affiliation, Team Adelson. But I'm not going to put him on there yet. I'm going to leave that a little bit. Stay tuned. James Geiger, the victim's neighbour. He's a witness for the prosecution. His affiliation is Team Markel, and I'm putting him in the C level. I'll talk about why I put him at the C level in a second, but this is David Sims, retired sergeant, witness for the prosecution, affiliation, Team Markel. Now, some of the photos that I used, I actually took from screenshots that I did myself from watching the various Tallahassee Democrat, the Law and Crime Network, back when James had, Deep Dive True Crime had his ones on there. Some of those are the screenshots that I took from the live thing, but some of them from Google, where the media outlets or other people have already done, or the professional photographers. I saw this one here and I went, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was sizing up something, scratching his eye, pointing this way and that way, but I went, that's a nice one for David Sims. So I'm going to put him down as the D level. Joanna Maltese, retired forensic specialist, witness for the prosecution, and affiliation is Team Markel, of course. She's down at D level as well. And Dr. Anthony Clark, associate medical examiner, witness for the prosecution, again, Team Markel, and he's down in D. Now, that might sound a bit harsh, but this is because they're just doing their job. That's their jobs. That's what they do. That's their occupation. Does that mean that they weren't helpful in this? No, you got to remember with this, they were there just to establish that there's a murder. This is the thing that always surprises me about these things, especially with the Dan Markel murder, is that every single time there's a case, we have to establish that there actually was a crime. Like, we know that there was a crime. Otherwise, why would people be there? But no, we have to establish there was a crime. We have to establish that it was a murder, and therefore there are participants in the murder. Even though we've already had people that have been convicted and put away and the evidence is there, you have to establish that there was a murder. Now, here's a fan favourite. There's Special Agent Patrick, or Pat Sanford, Special Agent for the FBI, witness for the prosecution, affiliation, of course, Team Markel. Now, he discussed the investigation into Dan and Wendy's divorce, plus the impact on Donna needing to have supervised visitation on her grandkids and Donna's email. I'm going to put him down at B for this one, but just for now. Wendi Adelson was the next one to take the stand. She's the ex-wife of the victim, named as an unindicted co-conspirator. Witness for the prosecution, but under subpoena, of course, because her affiliation is Team Adelson. She's going to carry over to the end. Oh, why are you doing this? I hear you say, yep, look, you've got to keep you hanging, I guess. Georgia Cappleman. Now, I could have brought her in earlier, but I love that she was the one that got to question Wendi, of course. She's the chief assistant, state attorney, prosecutor, of course, Team Markel. And she's going to carry over to the end as well. So these are our three carryover champions. Well, one of them's a champion. So let's continue with the Charlie Adelson murder trial participations tier list ranking. We've got Officer Bill Brannon, 510, from the Tallahassee, or TPD. I know that the T in TPD is Tallahassee, but he's a Tallahassee TPD officer. He's a witness for the prosecution, again, Team Markel. Now, he established that he saw Wendi going down the crime scene, and he was also the first responder and wrote the report on it. Now he gets a C. I'm going to put him a little bit higher because his testimony is a little bit better than just your regular cop. Jeff Lacasse, former boyfriend of Wendi. He was a witness for the prosecution, and his affiliation, of course, is Team Markel. Now, he came onto the stand. Then I think we had Wendi go back. Then we had the behind the scenes. He did a proffer, I think there was, or I can't remember what they called it, but this was the thing that to establish that potentially Wendi had told lies, and there was, so he did another little section that the jury couldn't see, but for what they could see, he definitely goes into the A tier. Stephen Webster, he was the last divorce attorney for Dan Markel, a witness for the prosecution, and of course Team Markel. Keep in mind he wasn't a divorce lawyer, but Dan was going to coach him through. His testimony was good, but I don't think, I think it was more of an establishment that yes, there was, still animosity going on the side of the divorce, despite banana bread potentially being offered and hugs given. June Mchinda, Charlie's ex-girlfriend, witness for the prosecution under subpoena because she is definitely Team Adelson. But she talked about the ghost of Dan Markel haunting Donna. Actually, she didn't want to, but Georgia kept on reminding her that we could always go back to her previous statements in previous trials or in previous police interviews. And hers went as a B level, establishing that there was a guilt in there. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mr. Controversy. Charlie's former, I've put in brackets, best friend, witness for the prosecution. He was under subpoena. I know that he's part of Justice for Dan Facebook groups, as was talked about. I don't know. He was happy to see, he's definitely part of Team Markel. He knows Markel, yeah. He definitely knows that Charlie is guilty, but he is a controversial figure. However, I've put him up in the A because I think he sort of established what sort of a person Charlie is, either with the things he does or by association with someone as rowdy as Ryan Fitzpatrick is. Luis Tato Rivera, driver of the getaway vehicle during the hit on Dan Markel, of course convicted, a witness for the prosecution. I don't believe under subpoena, but his affiliation with Team Adelson. I believe he's one of those. He's one of the people who's been writing letters saying, I've helped out. Can you give me some sort of leniency? He'd like to get out and see his kids. I'm not making judgment on that either way. But with his testimony, I'm putting him. He's about a B as well. There was definitely some good stuff within that. Katie McBanoa, middle person between the Adelson family and the hitman, who was also convicted. Witness for the prosecution. Again, I don't believe under subpoena. She's looking for a potential deal still. And part of Team Adelson, though, despite helping the Markel family now under guilt, I guess, under her guilty persuasion. Now, she goes as a B level. You could put her higher at A, I guess. But she just tripped herself up with so many things, and she has so much more that she could say. If she told the truth, she'd be an S level person, and we would already see that Donna and Wendi and Harvey all put away. Clarissa Libredo. Now, she's the former dental assistant at the Adelson Institute, a witness for the prosecution, again under subpoena. She's Team Adelson. Still to this day, she loves the Adelsons. She goes in the C because her testimony did help establish a lot of stuff, but she didn't come across as good as what her colleague, Erica Johnson, former front desk assistant at the Adelson Institute. She was also a personal assistant to Charlie when he was there. She was a witness, again, witness for the prosecution under subpoena, and still is definitely Team Adelson. But she goes a little bit higher. As I said, she goes into a B tier ranking. Mary Hull, former financial investigator at the Department of Financial Services, Office of Fiscal Integrity, witness for the prosecution, definitely Team Markel. She goes to a C because a lot of, she could be down with the other people doing their job, but the fact that she showed financial records of Charlie definitely does help out on that. Sergeant Corey Hale, sergeant at the Tallahassee Police Department, witness for the prosecution, Team Markel, gave testimony about Jeff Lacasse's police interview. Now, you remember he was the guy that did the interview with Jeff Lacasse, the first one, where he misses a whole lot of stuff. Of course, Jeff came back and did a second one. I believe he did it with Isom. And there's a lot of criticism about the interview with Sergeant Corey Hale for the first one. However, I am putting him up as an A because of the fact that he could verify Jeff Lacasse's testimony and police interview. So it was definitely an A worthy ranking on that one. Sergeant Christopher Corbett, sergeant at Tallahassee Police Department, witness for the prosecution, Team Markel, of course. His testimony about the Cellbrite investigation is always informative through all the previous cases as well, or trials, sorry. And his engagement with the jury is amazing. I've taken a screenshot of when he was looking. If you go and watch him, you can see how he truly engages the jury, and that's like a brilliant thing. And I'm putting him up because of that as well, and because of the information that he gives, including Charlie's phone calls, his locations, and all that. Absolutely brilliant. Special Agent Undercover. This is Undercover FBI agent who conducted the bump. Prosecution. Now, I've used this picture because, of course, they didn't show his face. So we could hear his testimony, but his face was not shown. But his testimony puts it, I think it's a superior, it's a super, it's superb. It's an S level for me. James Keith McElveen, sorry, James Keith McElveen. I put the Keith in inverted commas. I believe he actually goes by his second name. He's a media forensics engineer, witness for the prosecution, Team Markel. His testimony talked about the enhancement of the recordings made between Charlie and Katie and Charlie and Harvey at the restaurants. And it was an A level because he was able to establish about what went into the enhancements of the recordings. Now, this guy, we got to see him from the neck down. Another special undercover agent for the FBI, witness for the prosecution, Team Markel, and he sat inside the Matsuri recording the conversation between Charlie and Harvey. Now, he goes up into A because that was a very vital part of this and really helped put Charlie away. Now, this guy actually came after the bump guy, and I forgot to put him in because I forgot that because the bump guy was only there for a short while, and this guy was only there for a short while. So, but here's a special agent undercover for the FBI. He's the guy who sat inside Dolce Vita recording the conversation between Charlie and Katie, and they showed the Great Seal of the state of Florida when he was on the giving his testimony on the stand. Now, here's one as well, because that is such important, because that's where Charlie spews all this stuff. That definitely has to go as a S level. So here's the undercover guys that we had. All of those established recordings, both visual and audio, and it put Pat Sanford back onto the stand. And so he came on there. So he was on the stand for the rest of day 4 and most of day 5. He was playing the phone calls between Charlie and Donna and Katie and Sigfredo and Harvey and Dave. So I already had him ranked on there. I had him previously as a B. But with this second testimony and the longevity and the accuracy of the things he was reporting and the confirmation of the recordings, I'm putting him up to S now. And we get to this level and you're looking at this and on your screen and you're going to say, oh, this is quite grainy. These are all GIFs. with the prosecution rest, because once we had had all those phone calls, the prosecution had rested. Nothing further, Your Honour. And then the defence started bringing their witnesses. Kristen Adamson, she was Wendy's defence lawyer. Of course, she is a witness for the defence. She's on Team Adelson, and a waste of time. I want to put an expletive in there, but I won't. But she was a waste of time. I'm putting her down to E. Did she help get Charlie there? I don't think she did or didn't. I don't know. Just a waste of time. A speed bump in the road, like, the sort of speed bump you'd see on Trescott. I don't understand why she was there. Honestly, the most pointless testimony I've ever heard. And Catherine Myers, the co-counsel for the defence, team affiliation is obviously Team Adelson. She was the defence attorney who did the examination of Kristen Adamson's testimony. And I'm sorry, but she goes down. I mean, did she help get Charlie put away? Look, she didn't really play all that much important role in it. For her efforts, I'm putting her down A. She most probably did help get Charlie put away with that pointless stuff. But I'm just going to put them down there, both down the bottom, because I need to populate that A. Well, you don't have to, but I want to. So that brings us to Charlie Adelson, one of the carryovers. He's the defendant, of course, witness for the defence, Team Adelson. He spent most of day 6 being questioned by his defence attorney, Daniel Rashbaum. And then he came back the next day. He spent these first 45 minutes of day 7 being questioned by Daniel again. And then Georgia Cappleman did a cross-examination for 2 hours. And then Daniel Rashbaum did another 15 minutes after that. And I'm going to carry him over once again. Now, you've got to say, at this stage, where's Judge Stephen Everett? He's the Second Circuit Judge, the Leon County Trial Judge. His affiliation, of course, is impartial. He does not get a ranking. But if he did, I'd put him in the for what he did, for how he got the case to flow, how his interpretation of the law, his objections of pathetic, his turning down of pathetic objections, him questioning people's actions of doing stuff. I just felt that he, that's where he needs to be. In fact, I put the whole thing. The whole thing is him. It's not really, but I like him. I thought he was a great judge, and I just wanted to show his smiling face. Go Google him. Go Google Judge Stephen Everett and have a look at his happy smiling faces on his LinkedIn account and things like that. Handsome guy. So we're still left with these 3 that are yet to be ranked. Georgia Cappleman, here she is. Now I brought her back in her outfit where and for anyone who's seen my video about Georgia and her outfits that she wore every day, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But Georgia Cappleman, Chief Assistant State Attorney, she's a prosecutor, Team Markel, of course. Her initial closing argument went for 2 hours. After Daniel Rashbaum's closing argument, she followed with another 25 minutes. And this is going to be controversial. I'm putting her at A. I am part of the Georgia Cappleman Appreciation Society. I love her. You can see previous videos that I've done. I think she's a warrior princess. I think she's everything. She's great. I sent her a personal email thanking her for what she's done so far, and she wrote back and was appreciative of me sending that to her. But I'm only putting her down as an A, and I'll tell you why. Because I think she delivered the evidence well, but the evidence is the thing that carried over. That's the S tier level, and I'm going to put her as A. I love you, Georgia, but that's where I'm putting you. Daniel Rashbaum, defense attorney, affiliation Team Adelson. His closing argument went for 1 hour and 3/4 hours, I should say. And I'm putting him in A. Now you go, oh, A, doesn't that mean he's done a really, really great performance, but his client went to jail? That's why he's A. Hey, because remember, this is how we get, how the people helped in putting Charlie behind prison. And I think the fact that he did that pathetic narrative, he allowed Charlie to go with that pathetic narrative, I think that helped Charlie go to jail. So Daniel Rashbaum, you are part of you're part of Team Markel as far as I'm concerned. I know you don't go on there, like on STS doing things and talking about, how your client is innocent. He is not innocent, okay? And you helped prove that. Now that leaves us with Wendi Adelson and Charlie Adelson. Of course, the affiliation is Team Adelson. And here's a photo of the two of them at a party with drinking. I thought Wendi didn't drink. That's what I'm always told. She doesn't drink. But there's lots of photos of her on the internet drinking. This is then post Dan's murder. So we're going to start off with Charlie. I'm sure you went, oh, Charlie will be last. No, Charlie the defendant, of course, a witness for the defense. Team affiliation is obviously Team Adelson, and here he is hearing his verdict. Look at the sadness in that brow. I'm putting him up the top. His testimony helped put him away. You don't need me to tell you that. People who are regular viewers of the things in this case, exactly what he did wrong, even with his 95% rating, as Daniel Rashbaum said, or he said that Daniel Rashbaum said, but he helped put himself away. And Wendi Adelson, ex-wife of victim, named as an unindicted co-conspirator. Prosecution under subpoena, Team Adelson. Charlie was recorded on jail calls to Donna, telling them how dumb Wendi was driving by the crime scene and then testifying about doing it or not, depending on which trial it was, depending on what day it is, depending on what her narrative is on each day. Here it is at the police interview. And here she is with her stupid smiling face when she thinks that she's, tricked up someone while she was on the stand. But she gets to go here. Could I have called that the God tier of her? Look, I didn't want to give her any sort of superiority complex or anything like that, thinking that she was so good. But her testimony, once again, her testimony helped put her brother in jail. It will help put her mum in jail as well. Looking forward to that happening. So I hope you liked this video. It's something a little bit different, part of the pop culture thing that's going on at the moment with all the tier lists, and some of them are quite funny. Some of them, of course, and I'm sure that mine did this, will make you want to throw something at your screen and say, oh, I disagree with that. But I'll tell you what, good opportunity to write comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I got any wrong. Tell me where you would put people. And yeah, it's hopefully, we'll see the same people back for Donna's one. I know that. I know there's going to be a few more people. Again, we're hoping that Ruth and Phil will be there. Harvey should be there, doing his testimony. I really don't hope that they don't bring Kristen back. It was a waste. Again, I can't reiterate enough. It was a waste of time having her there. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, wish me a happy birthday if you want. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, we're getting close to the 30-minute mark on this one, so I'm going to wrap up now. Hope you're all having a great day, great week, great year. Until we talk again, see you later.